Welcome back to Cartoon Mania. Today we'll cover Ben 10 Omniverse. This is the fourth and possibly the last edition to be Ben 10 franchise if we exclude the reboot. This time the show is divided into story arcs with 8 seasons, each containing 10 episodes. In this video, I'll cover the entirety of the show from beginning to the end in detail. So kick back, relax, and enjoy.
When lights are on the line, it's here about time.
5 years ago, Ben faced off against the villain Malware, who posed a tough challenge but was eventually defeated when Ben transformed into Feedback. In the present day, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin pursued a mischievous Zombozo, and after restraining him, Gwen and Kevin revealed that they're heading out of town for a while, leaving Ben feeling lonely as he continues his heroic adventures. Gwen is skipping grades and going to college, and Kevin has found a place near Gwen's campus to work. As he carries on, Ben stumbles upon a group of alien criminals extorting money from shop owners in Bellwood. This encounter leads to an unexpected alliance with Rook, a new plumber partner assigned by Max. At first, Ben is hesitant about teaming up, but he eventually embraces the partnership. Together, they thwart the alien criminals' plans to detonate a bomb and stumble upon a secret underground alien city called the Undertown. Amidst their discoveries, Kyber releases his Nematrix-powered pet to hunt down Ben, adding a new layer of challenge to his heroics. In the pursuit through Undertown, Ben and Rook discover the villain Siphon behind the protection racket in the city. Siphon plans to extend his racket to the surface and cause chaos with bombs. Ben, as various aliens, battles the criminals and shakedown machines while Rook helps and learns to be wisecracking hero. Eventually, they defeat Siphon and his gang, and Rook earns Ben's acceptance as his partner. However, Kyber, the hunter, views Ben as his ultimate trophy and plans to capture him. Back in Bellwood, Ben embraces his partnership with Rook as they enjoy chili fries together, celebrating their successful teamwork and the adventures that lie ahead. As Ben and Rook investigate the series of mysterious attacks on Ben by alien monsters, their suspicions lead to Dr. Animo. However, upon reaching his cell, they find it empty, prompting them to follow a trail of ants to a sewer. There, they encounter a menacing mutant ant, which they soon discover was created by Anemo. As they chase after the ants, they stumble upon Anemo controlling a massive ant hill using a device that transforms regular ants into mutant ants. Kyber and his formidable dog also show up, setting the stage for an intense showdown. To combat the threat, Ben engages in a fierce battle against Anemo's mutant ants and Kyber's transformed dog, Musulator. With Rook's invaluable assistance, they manage to defeat both Anemo and Kyber's dog, but their victory is short-lived as the mysterious attacks persist and Anemo swears vengeance. Kyber infiltrates Plumber headquarters and accesses a hidden file room to watch a holo display of a past event. The flashback shows Malware, a corrupted galvanic mechamorph, attacking Galvin Prime and demanding Azimuth to give him an upgrade. Azimuth's attempts to help Malware fail, and he kidnaps Albedo and steals an unfinished Helix device. Ben, Gwen, Max, and Azimuth travel to Galvin B to stop Malware. However, when Malware absorbs the Helix, he gains more power and threatens to destroy them all. After a fierce battle, Diamond Head manages to encase Malware in crystal, temporarily stopping him. In the present, Kyber acquires the stolen files and departs, seemingly having obtained vital information. The episode begins with a flashback from 5 years ago when the villainous Malware defeats Forearms, deactivates and drains the original Omnitrix, and copies its power onto his hand. In the present, Ben and Rook are playing a Sumo Slammers video game when they are interrupted by the appearance of Crabdozer. Ben tries to transform into Humongousaur, but the Omnitrix malfunctions, turning him into Stinkfly. Kyber, watching from afar, uses a whistle to stun Wildmutt and force him back to his human form. Rook arrives in time to save Ben from Crabdozer, and the creature reverts to Kyber's pet. Afterward, Ben and Rook head to Undertown, where they continue their search and have a disagreement over their approach. In frustration, Rook leaves Ben behind, and Kyber observes the situation, pleased with the division. In a flashback, Malware meets Dr. Psychoboss and requests an Omnitrix. Psychoboss agrees but needs DNA to complete it. Returning to the present, Kyber contacts Psychoboss, expressing impatience with obtaining Ben's DNA. Meanwhile, Ben devises a plan involving a pet store owner, Pakmar, and a dog whistle to lure Kyber's pet. The plan works, but Kyber captures Ben and engages him in a chase. Ben transforms through multiple aliens during the pursuit, but eventually Kyber's pet catches him, leaving the episode on a tense cliffhanger. Kyber, now holding Ben captive, plans to forcibly remove his Omnitrix arm. Ben defiantly taunts Kyber about his previous failed attempts. In response, Kyber unveils the truth behind the Nematrix, a device capable of copying Predator DNA, revealing that it was created by malware with the help of Dr. Psychobus. They hired Kyber to collect the DNA, leading to an encounter with Phil, who was later revealed to be the Nematrix's test subject. Meanwhile, Rook manages to track down Kyber's ship and rushes to Ben's rescue. Through a series of intense battles and transformations, Ben is ultimately saved, and Kyber's ship crashes with Kyber and his dog barely surviving. However, the danger is not over, as Malware and Dr. Psychobus emerge and Kyber is ordered to capture Ben once again. As the Nematrix's missing piece is recovered by Psychobus, he launches an attack on Ben and the plumbers, stealing the crucial component from the Omnitrix. This causes the Omnitrix to malfunction, and Rook ends up transforming into various ineffective and bizarre alien hybrids. Amidst the chaos, the plumbers are faced with criminals demanding the release of their captured comrades, threatening to open a dangerous null void portal. Throughout the battle, Ben finds himself transformed into a series of peculiar aliens, each possessing unique weaknesses. Despite the challenges, they eventually manage to defeat the criminals and revert back to normal. Meanwhile, Psychobos successfully inserts the stolen piece into the Nematrix, restoring Kyber's pet to its true and formidable form. Ben and Rook attend the Oldie Bellwood Days Festival, where Ben reluctantly participates in a Dunk Ben 10 attraction to raise money for charity. However, they find themselves in the midst of chaos, as Kyber's pet, now equipped with the ability to transform into the predator of Ben's aliens, wreaks havoc. While dealing with the creature's attacks, Ben also crosses paths with Malware, who is determined to obtain DNA samples for the Nematrix. Flashbacks of a previous encounter with Malware offer Ben valuable insight to his adversary's motives. Meanwhile, Rook faces the challenge of repairing the damaged proto-truck caused by Malware's actions. Despite the distractions and battles, Ben remains committed to his charity duties and, in a humorous twist, ends up getting dunked by Rook at the end of the festival. Azimuth and White find themselves facing a dangerous situation on Galvin Prime when Kyber, Malware, and Dr. Psychobus make a threatening appearance. Kyber manages to acquire a DNA sample from the fossil of Galvin's natural predator, Omniverse, and integrates it into the Nematrix. Meanwhile, Ben and Rook take a drive through Undertown, using the time to bond and share stories. Ben reflects on his past encounter with Feedback and the tragic outcome when he faced Malware. Later, Kyber's pet, now able to transform into Omniverse, launches an attack on Galvin Prime. Ben, in the form of Humongousaur, teams up with Rook to confront the villains, but Azimuth ends up being captured. Thanks to Rook's quick thinking and a special whistle, they manage to freeze Azimuth and discover that Malware is involved in the scheme. The memories of Feedback's destruction during the battle with Malware resurface, and they devise a plan to use Kyber's pet to track down the malevolent entity. However, their investigation takes a devastating turn when another Galvin planet, Galvin B, is suddenly destroyed, leaving them shocked and horrified by the unfolding events. Ben, Rook, and Azimuth fight to defend Galvin Prime and devise a plan to activate firewalls to protect the planet's core. However, Malware proves too powerful, leading Ben to transform into Waybig for an epic battle. During the fight, Malware absorbs Waybig, leaving Ben unconscious inside him. Within Malware's mind, Ben encounters his 11-year-old self, who helps him come to terms with the loss of Feedback. With the newfound determination, Ben transforms back into Feedback and fights Malware from within, using the Helix's energy to defeat him. The galvanic mechamorphs, saved by Azimuth, come to their aid, weakening Malware, and Feedback delivers the final blow, destroying him. After the intense battle, Azimuth remains stoic and doesn't express gratitude to Ben. The group returns home, and Kevin decides to keep Kyber's former pet, who turns out to be a female, much to Gwen's surprise. And thus ends the Malware arc of the show. Ben and Rook find themselves captured by the villain Nyancy Chan, who has the power to control cats. After escaping, they encounter the Gormans, a race of aliens who can eat anything, but discover that they are divided into two factions, the Perks and the Mercs. The Gormans are engaged in a battle against the Incursions, and Ben and Rook decide to assist them. Ben transforms into various aliens to help the Gormans fight off the Incursions and rescue their queen, Queen Voracia Rumbletongue. During the battle, Ben and Rook end up on different sides of the Gorman conflict due to their differing approaches. However, both eventually realize that they should have listened to each other. After defeating Atia and the Incursions, the Gormans decide to consume Peptos 11, their home planet, as Plan Omega to ensure the Incursions cannot claim it. They then set off in search of a new home. Meanwhile, Atia and the Incursions plot their next invasion, targeting Earth as their next conquest. Ben, Rook, and Max are tasked with transporting the villain Vilgax to Incursion, a high-security prison. However, Atia, the daughter of the Incursion Emperor, has sent bounty hunters after Vilgax to prevent him from being locked away, hoping to weaken Vilgax's influence over his home planet, Vilgaxia. When they reach Incursion, the ship's systems are shut down and they are cut off from communication. A battle breaks out between the plumbers, Atia's group, and Vilgax, who claims he had no part in the attack. Vilgax's escape attempt is thwarted, but Atia's bounty hunters chase after Ben and Rook throughout the prison. Ben uses his alien forms to battle Atia's group and help the plumbers, but Atia manages to get away, leaving Ben frustrated that he couldn't capture her or Vilgax. In the end, Atia's father, Milius, scolds her for failing to capture Vilgax, and she promises to do better. Ben, Rook, and Max receive a distress call from Magister Arnux and his group of plumbers who are stranded on the toxic planet Terminus 3 in Incursion space. They need a cure for the toxic atmosphere, and the only known cure is the venom of the Grackleflint, a creature found in Undertown on Earth. To get to Terminus 3, they enlist the help of Rad Dudesman, the captain of the Lovely Duck, a tough and experienced space adventurer. They face challenges along the way, including Pax, who has a connection with the Grackleflint but is not cooperative at first. On Terminus 3, they must capture the Grackleflint, but it proves to be elusive and causes chaos on the Lovely Duck. Eventually, they manage to capture the Grackleflint using Pax's seeds as bait, but they are intercepted by Incursion forces led by Raph. With some clever planning and teamwork, they defeat the Incursions and escape with the Grackleflint. They use its venom to cure Magister Arnux and his plumbers. In the end, Pax agrees to let the Grackleflint return to its planet, and Rad gets paid for their services. The group successfully rescues the stranded plumbers and saves the day once again. Ben, Rook, and Young One rush to Ravona to find it under the control of the Incursions, who are using Amber Ogia to mind control the inhabitants. Rook's family is also affected, but they manage to break free from mind control and fight back against the Incursions. Young One plays a significant role in alerting Ben and Rook to the invasion and assisting them in their mission. They discover that Dr. Psychoboss is behind the mind control scheme, and he plans to use the Amber Ogia to control beings all over the galaxy. With the help of Rook's family, they manage to thwart the plan and free the Ravonaganders from the Incursion control. During the intense battle, Ben transforms into Astrodactyl, a new alien, and defeats Dr. Psychoboss in a dramatic aerial battle. Atia manages to escape with a small amount of Amber Ogia concentrate, setting her sights on Earth for the next move. In the end, Rook's family expresses their pride in him, and Char expresses interest in becoming a plumber just like her brother. Rook and Ben leave Ravona knowing that the fight against the Incursions is far from over. Earth is under attack by the Incursions, and Ben and Rook are caught in the midst of the invasion. Undertown becomes visible to the citizens of Bellwood, causing panic and fear. Max, Ben's grandfather, urges him to calm the citizens down and be a hero, as Ben's fame as a celebrity could help them listen. However, the situation escalates when the Omnitrix's randomizer function is activated, causing Ben to transform into different aliens involuntarily. As the Incursion invasion intensifies, Ben struggles with controlling the Omnitrix and finding the right alien form to fight back effectively. He manages to transform into various aliens like Astrodactyl, Snare-O, Water Hazard, and Wrath during the battle. But his lack of control over the transformations hinders his efforts. In the midst of the chaos, the Incursions start attacking Earth's defenses and breaking through the planetary shields. Max leads the plumbers in a desperate battle against Milius and the Incursion forces, but they face overwhelming odds. Ben and Rook join the fight, but Ben's random transformations add to the challenge. After a series of battles, Ben is captured by the Incursions, and Milius threatens to unleash mutated Toku stars on Earth if Ben doesn't leave the planet forever. Despite his reluctance, Ben agrees to leave Earth to protect it from further harm. Max and the plumbers are taken captive, and the Incursions gain control of the planet. Will Harangyu, reporting on the situation, celebrates Ben's departure, unaware of the true sacrifice he has made for Earth. Ben is launched into space in Incursion spacepod, leaving his home planet behind. After being exiled from Earth, Ben finds himself floating aimlessly in space in his escape pod. Meanwhile, Milius has taken control of Earth with his army of mutant Toku stars, and Will Harangyu is now praising the Incursions as benevolent overlords. Gwen, Kevin, Rook, Blukik, and Argit form a resistance team and attempt to smuggle weapons, but their efforts are thwarted by patrolling Incursions. They regroup at Mr. Bauman's shop and come up with a plan to go after Dr. Psychoboss, who is responsible for controlling the Waybats. They infiltrate Milius' ship, but it turns out to be a trap set by Atia, who betrays them. However, they are rescued by a mysterious Incursion named Bullfrag. who turns out to be Ben in disguise. Bullfrag has been working undercover to gather information and help the Resistance. With Bullfrag's plan, they manage to rescue Max and the imprisoned plumbers, and they all work together to mount a counterattack against Milius. Ben reveals his true identity to the team, and Attia is shocked to discover Bullfrag is actually Ben. Bullfrag explains his backstory and how he infiltrated the Incursions. With the combined efforts of the Resistance, they managed to defeat Milius and force the Incursions to retreat to their original territories. Attia takes control of the Incursions and offers a truce in exchange for her freedom. Ben, although reluctantly, accepts Attia's terms and she leaves, but not before flirting with him one last time. And this arc ends with Ben's return to Earth and his friends celebrating his heroic exploits. Ben and Rook notice strange purple clouds in the sky and suspect Zombozo's involvement. They head to a circus where they believe Zombozo is causing trouble. Inside the circus, Rook is affected and transformed into a zombie clown. Ben realizes that it's not Zombozo, but a masked figure behind the attacks. Ben encounters zombie clowns all over town and tries to figure out the real cause. At Plumber headquarters, Bluekick and Dribba are trying to find a cure for Rook's condition, but also get infected. Meanwhile, Max and the other plumbers are fighting off the zombie clowns. Back at the circus, Ben, as Wrath, battles against the circus freaks but gets launched out of the circus. The circus freaks continue infecting people with false teeth, turning them into zombie clowns. Ben transforms into Frankenstrike and tries to stop the circus freaks. However, Max is bitten and transformed into a zombie clown, which terrifies Ben. In a flashback, it's revealed that Max scared a young Ben with clown makeup, triggering his fear of clowns. Back in the present, Ben's fear of clowns becomes so intense that it restores Zombozo's strength. Zombozo appears and Ben transforms into Eye Guy, but his fear causes multiple Zombozos to appear in his eyes. Eye Guy transforms into Topic, and his terrifying face scares Zombozo away, turning everyone back to normal. Zombozo escapes using Acid Breath's breath to launch himself into space. The circus freaks are arrested, and Ben admits that he is still a little afraid of clowns. Gwen, as Lucky Girl, stops Punchinello, who is actually Professor Aniceto, from stealing plutonium at Friedkin University. Later, the group witnesses a rock monster attack and discovers the Charmcaster is behind it. They also encounter a new villain, Dante, who turns out to be Darkstar in disguise. Darkstar plans to drain Gwen's mana and use it to regain his perfect body. With the help of Ghostfreak's possession ability, they manage to stop Darkstar, and Charmcaster arrests him with a special symbol that prevents him from using magic. After Darkstar's arrest, Charmcaster unleashes Zest's Scare from Legger Domain, setting up the stage for future adventures. Despite the action and excitement, Ben manages to cause some comedic moments with the antics and earns an honorary degree as Dr. Tennyson. Ben, Rook, Rat, and Hobble crash land on Einar Transil and encounter various monsters. They are pursued by Kulpulu and ultimately saved by a Loboan plumber named Scout. However, they later discover that Zest's Scare, also known as Ghostfreak, and his minions, including Dr. Victor and Kruho, are planning to take over Einar Transil. The team fights against the villains, with Ben using various alien transformations and manages to defeat them, but Zest's Scare escapes. The locals, who initially saw Ben and his team as monsters, come to understand their perspective, and the team eventually repairs their ship and continues their journey. However, Ben accidentally breaks the new ship part they obtained, leading to some playful tension among the group. Still stranded on the planet, Ben, Rook, Rat, and Hobble encounter Charmcaster on Einar Transil, who seeks to reclaim the Alpha Rune from Zest's Scare. They team up to infiltrate Zest's Scare's castle, facing challenges and mirroring duplicates along the way. Zest's Scare tricks Charmcaster into using the Alpha Rune, draining its power and causing her to go mad. She turns into a powerful rock-armored form, but Rook and Hobble manage to revert her back using various spells and items. After defeating Charmcaster, they discover that she had obtained a small stone figure named Adwaitia, indicating that she is planning something else. Ultimately, they return to the Lovely Duck and continue their journey through the Einar system. Ben, Rook, Rat, and Hobble are on Einar Transil when Zest's Scare uses the power of the Alpha Rune to revive Lord Transil, a Vladat. Zest's Scare plans to use Transil's DNA to resurrect all the Vladats and rule the universe. Ben discovers a new DNA sample on Einar Transil and transforms into Vampire, a Vladat alien. Vampire battles Lord Transil, Zest's Scare, and their minions to prevent their plan from succeeding. During the fight, Victor, one of Zest's Scare's aliens, betrays him and helps Ben. Hobble also plays a crucial role in destroying the machine that Zeskare was using to revive the Vladettes. In the end, Ben transforms into Atomics and defeats Zeskare, and Victor imprisons Lord Transil in a containment unit in orbit around the Anor system's sun to keep him from causing further harm. Ben and Rook discover a derelict ship in Earth's orbit that is anchored to the planet by tractor beams. They encounter the Riedel brothers, who are scavenging the ship. Argid steals a powerful device called the Enile Arc, which is rumored to have the ability to destroy universes. The Incursions, led by Emperor Milius, arrive and join the chase for the Enile Arc. Eventually, the Riedels escape to Earth with the device, and Ben and Rook follow them. The Enile Arc is accidentally activated, causing the destruction of the universe. Whoopsies. In desperation, Ben transforms into Alien X, a powerful celestial sapient, to recreate the universe and undo the destruction. With the universe restored, Ben and Rook are left with the impression that everything is back to normal. But they notice subtle changes, including the appearance of a new hoodie for Ben and alterations to the Mr. Smoothie building and logo. However, when Ben tries to explain what happened, his claims are dismissed as a panic-induced hallucination by Rook and Argid. Ben, along with his grandfather Max and friend Liam, pursues a thief who has stolen Vaxasaurian eggs. After a thrilling chase, Ben transforms into Feedback and defeats the thief, gaining unexpected attention from a Kinocelaran girl who films him. Max arrives and scolds Ben for showboating, leading to an argument. Later, Ben, along with Galvin's Bluekick and Dribba, embarks on a quest to find the elusive 23rd Mr. Smoothie store that exists across dimensions. They encounter various challenges, including a dimension-hopping Professor Hoakstar, and a reality where Ben has an alternate version named Ben 23. The two Bens meet and face off against alien threats together. In the end, they learn valuable lessons about heroism and responsibility. They return to their respective dimensions, and Ben reunites with Max, showing a deeper appreciation for his mentor's guidance. Young Ben and Teen Ben find themselves in each other's bodies after an explosion caused by Eon. They work together to defeat Eon and solve clues left by Professor Paradox. The two Bens fight Eon across different timelines, encountering younger versions of their friends and family. Paradox reveals that Eon seeks absolute power over everything, and that he can travel to the past, present, and the future. Eon captures Paradox, who gives Ben a clue to find the Chrono Navigator. Ben, Gwen, and Rook follow clues, leading them to Mr. Smoothies, where Eon takes the Chrono Navigator. Eon plans to use the device's power to control the multiverse. Both Bens transforms into Clockwork and successfully defeat Eon, but their memories of the event are erased. They say their goodbyes and time is restored to normal. Suddenly, Ben 10,000 arrives from the future to warn about a time war caused by rogue Chronosapiens and temporal beasts led by Maltruant. Teen Ben is thrilled by the idea of a time war, setting the stage for more exciting adventures. In this alternate universe episode, Ben is living a normal life without the Omnitrix. He helps a woman rescue her cat and later plays a soccer game. However, his watch, which is broken in this reality, gets stolen by a thief named Kevin Levin. Ben's grandfather Max picks him up and they encounter his cousin Gwen. Ben's peaceful life is disrupted when he is attacked by the alternate versions of himself known as Bad Ben, Albedo, and Benzaro, who have been corrupted by an unknown higher power. Ben is saved by his counterpart from the main timeline and taken to meet Professor Paradox, who explains the concept of the multiverse and kidnapping of various Ben Tennysons. They discover that Vilgax and Eon are behind the kidnappings, planning to build an army of Omnitrix-wielding warriors. With the help of other versions of Ben, the Bens engage in an intense battle, and No Watch Ben, the one without an Omnitrix, must find a way to survive. Vilgax activates a bomb that threatens to erase all other Ben Tennysons from existence. No Watch Ben, shielded by his counterpart, Ben Prime, is the last remaining Ben Tennyson in the multiverse. Vilgax attacks him, unaware that the Omnitrix has attached itself to No Watch Ben's wrist. Paradox takes him to a pocket dimension outside of time and space, informing him that they must return to the beginning to face whatever lies ahead. The episode ends with No Watch Ben, determined and ready for the challenges that await him in this unique and altered reality. No Watch Ben, the last remaining Ben Tennyson from the multiverse, joins forces with Professor Paradox to mend the damaged time streams caused by Vilgax's meddling. Their mission is to ensure that the events leading to their original timeline, where Ben Prime discovers the Omnitrix, unfold correctly. During their journey, No Watch Ben enlists the help of other good versions of himself from different dimensions, including Ben Prime, Gwen 10, Ben 23, and Ben 10,000, to confront the evil Bens, Vilgax, and Eon. With the time streams restored, the heroic team faces the ultimate battle against the villains, showcasing their unique abilities and teamwork. Despite not having the Omnitrix, No Watch Ben displays remarkable intelligence and bravery in defending the multiverse. Together, they defeat Wilgax and send all the malevolent Bens and Eon back to their respective timelines. Ben Prime appreciates No Watch Ben's heroism even without the Omnitrix. Paradox acknowledges the mysteries of the vast multiverse with its diverse timelines and narratives before escorting Ben Prime back home, ending their incredible journey. Ben and Rook visit the Bellwood Museum for a date with Esther. While exploring the museum's alien artifacts, they encounter Kai Green, who reveals that the artifacts were collected by her grandfather. Suddenly, an alien thief named Subdora attempts to steal the orb of Pumapunku, a 12,000-year-old artifact. Ben and his team stop Subdora, but she manages to escape. Spanner convinces Ben and his friends to spend the night at the museum to catch the thief. However, they end up trapped inside the museum when Subdora triggers the security system. Ben and Kai argue while trying to find a way out. Meanwhile, Subdora returns to her partner Exoskull, and together they plan to retrieve the orb by force. Eventually, Exoskull attacks the museum to reclaim the orb, leading to a battle with Ben, Rook, and Spanner. With Kai's help, they defeat Exoskull and the orb is retrieved. Spanner, revealing he is from the future where Ben and Kai are together, hands the orb to Esther and she uses it to defeat Exoskull with Kai's help. Spanner secretly takes the orb back to his time and ensures that the future remains unchanged. At Ben 10,000's tower in the future, an adult Kai finds the orb thinking it was lost forever. Meanwhile, Exoskull and Subdora hand the orb's mechanism to Maltruant, who claims to have the key to time itself, setting up potential future conflicts. Ben and Ben 23 team up to stop a robbery orchestrated by the villains Exoskull and Subdora. They encounter Mad Ben, who is under the influence of Maltruant, a powerful Chronosapien seeking to restart the Time War. Despite their efforts, Maltruant gains the upper hand and freezes their Omnitrixes in time, leaving the Bens helpless. To counter Maltruant's power, Ben 23 transforms into Technobubble and merges with Clockwork, enabling Clockwork to run faster. They manage to recover the key that grants Maltruant his time powers, but Mad Ben ultimately hands it back to the villain. Maltruant escapes with his minions, leaving the two Bens trapped and defenseless. Mad Ben, transformed into Upchunk, launches an attack, but Ben and Ben 23 manage to hide behind a pile of junk beside Dr. Psychobos, who is also seeking to avoid Maltruant's wrath. Ben, Ben 23, and Dr. Psychobos manage to escape from Mad Ben's clutches and return to the digging site. With the help of the workers, they overthrow Mad Ben and his henchmen. Mad Rook realizes that Mad Ben is not fit to rule and decides to side with the workers and Ben, bringing Mad Ben and his cohorts to justice. Later, Ben and Ben 23 try to return to their dimensions using their Omnitrixes, but they discover that Dr. Psychobos tampered with them to make them explode upon transformation. Thinking quickly, Ben transforms into Grey Matter and Ben 23 transforms into Brain Frog, and they work together to prevent the explosions. After saving the day and restoring order, Ben commends Mad Rook for his efforts and natural peacekeeping abilities. He advises Mad Rook to drop the tough guy persona, which Mad Rook contemplates. Just as the Bens are wondering how to get back to their dimensions, Professor Hoakstar's dimension-traveling Mr. Smoothie appears. Rook emerges from it and informs them that they've been searching across dimensions for Ben and Ben 23. Ben and Rook encounter Exoskull and Subdora while dealing with a nest of Time Beast eggs. In an attempt to stop the Time Beast, Ben's powers collide with its time abilities, freezing all of Bellwood in time. Professor Paradox and Ben 10,000 arrive to help reverse the time and resolve the situation. Eon, the mastermind behind the Time Beasts, hatches one of the eggs and chaos ensues as Ben and Rook try to stop it. With the help of Paradox and Ben 10,000, they manage to subdue the Time Beast and prevent further destruction. Eon escapes with 2 eggs, and Ben and Rook use the time cycles to revert the Time Beast back to an egg and return to their time. Paradox takes the past Ben and Rook back in time to ensure everything is in order, and Eon delivers the eggs to Maltruant, continuing his sinister plot. Kai, Ben, and Rook team up to search for alien artifacts in the Temple of the Sky. They encounter traps and jungle guardians, but eventually find out that the jungle guardians are actually robots controlled by a Galvin named Ujin. Ujin was tasked with protecting an object containing a piece of Maltruant, a powerful villain, but Exoskull interrupts their mission and steals the main spring from the object. Ben and Rook fight Exoskull while Kai retrieves the main spring. They manage to defeat Exoskull, but he escapes through a time portal. Paradox explains the true nature of the Temple of the Sky, and the group parts ways, with Ben and Rook leaving in their time cycles. In the future, at Ben 10,000's headquarters, Dr. Anemo tries to break into a room, but Ben 10,000 and Kai stop him. They defeat some mutant frogs, but Dr. Anemo escapes using a chronoporter. However, it turns out that Spanner has captured him, and surprise surprise, Spanner is actually Ken, Ben's son. They take Dr. Anemo to Plumber headquarters. In there, they meet up with Max, who's retiring, and Argid, who is now the president of Earth. Chaos ensues when solar flares cause trouble, and Maltruant and his team show up to cause havoc. With the help of some unexpected allies, including Ken, they face off against Maltruant. It's a fierce battle, but they manage to stop him temporarily. In the end, Maltruant escapes with a time beast provided by Eon. In the aftermath of the battle with Maltruant, Ben and Rook follow the time beast into the time rift back in time and are confronted by George Washington, who leads a group similar to the Plumbers in the early 1770s. They encounter a young Wilgax, who has been exiled to Earth after being banished for his war-mongering behavior. Wilgax joins forces with Maltruant, who seeks to create his own universe using the Exile Arc. Ben and Rook once again chase after Maltruant in the time stream, leading them to a Quantumania ship. They discover that the Quantumania are experimenting with creating a new universe. Ben faces off against Maltruant while Rook tries to stop the device. Eventually, things seem dire, but Ben sacrifices himself to contain the Exile Arc and is seemingly killed. However, Ben survives and defeats Maltruant by using feedback to send him into a time loop cycle. The Quantumania praise Ben's effort and invite him and Rook to witness the creation of the new universe. Skirt, the slime Biot, also rejoins his ancestors to fulfill his original purpose. Professor Paradox appears and explains that Maltruant will be stuck in the time loop. Ben and Rook help Paradox hide Maltruant's pieces across the multiverse to prevent his return. But even if he does, these events will repeat and he will end up at the beginning of the loop once again. Back in their universe, Ben suggests a road trip to explore the new universe they witnessed being created. And that is Ben 10 Omniverse from beginning to end. Ben 10 Omniverse is a captivating animated series that keeps fans hooked with its unique blend of humor, action, and character development. The addition of Rook as Ben's partner brings a refreshing dynamic to the show, and the Galactic Monsters arc introduces exciting new villains and challenges for our hero. The series masterfully balances fun and mature themes, making it enjoyable for viewers of all ages. With its engaging storylines, diverse villains, and nostalgic nods to previous series, Omniverse honors the legacy of Ben 10 while carving its own path. For those seeking thrilling adventures and a hero's journey, Ben 10 Omniverse is a must-watch that reminds us that heroism knows no limits. And that's pretty much it for today. If you enjoyed the video as much as we did making it for you, drop us a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Cartoon Mania for more awesome tunes like this recapped on your feed. With that said, we'll see you in the next one. Peace!